Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm just going to give it another couple of minutes just as people come into the call. Just to let you know, this webinar tonight is recorded, but we can't see any of you, so we're running it as a webinar format, so we can't see any of your faces and you won't be able to speak. But there is the Q&A function, which would encourage you to put any questions in as you come up with them. Maddie Watson, who's our Club Development Coordinator in the West and Southwest, she's working in the background, so she'll answer some of those questions as they come through, or if they are particularly difficult, she'll flag them up to me and I'll take them at the end. If there's anything that we can't answer tonight, then we'll take them away and we'll circulate them around through club secretaries. So I'll just get started now as we're here. So like I say, use the Q&A function if you've got any questions. And if we can avoid using the chat function, Maddie's going to use that just to message me about any questions that come through as they come in. After tonight, we'll share the recording of this, so you'll be able to watch it back, and we'll also share the link to the slides as well, so that you're able to have a look through them. So really the aim of this session tonight is to give clubs an overview of the system, get used to the terminology that's used in relation to the system, and be able to tackle the first steps of uploading members and setting others as administrators in the system. Following this session, there's going to be further sessions on areas such as bookkeeping, membership, events, club development plan, and contacts. So I thought it'd be useful just to begin with, just to talk about ClubServe and why ClubServe, why we've come to use this. So the first word I'd use is bespoke. So we've developed this in partnership with cycling clubs to offer a range of modules which we think will be advantageous to the administration and the development of your club. In addition to equipping clubs with the tools to administer your club, we spent a fair amount of time filling the system with a suite of resources, guides, templates, and case studies, etc., on a whole host of club development areas in line with our club development framework. And I guess this is in recognition that in the past, when resources were shared, be it case studies or templates or guides, these would be often quite easily lost on the website. So we're using the resources functionality within ClubServe to create a really easy to navigate area of the system that we can upload a range of different tools, which hopefully will answer a lot of questions that clubs have as they look for governance templates or role descriptors for committee members or ways in which to work with underrepresented groups. There's a whole host of stuff in there, about 150 odd different resources that you'll be able to look at. The back office functionality of the system allows a range of system users to access the administrative functions of ClubServe. The levels of access to this can be controlled to ensure that admins only have access to what they're required to have access to. And there's good insight into how you control those different levels of access within the system manually. The portal functionality of the system is essentially the front of house system. This is where members and non-members can interact with the club. Now, if some of you have been in the role for a while, you remember that there used to be a thing called a BC powered website, which was almost like a front of house version of the British Cycling Club management system. Now, that was decommissioned a few years ago and there's never been anything to replace it. So the portal offering through ClubServe essentially offers clubs a front of house facing platform, which can be used to interact with members and new members and administrate the member functionality. It has its separate URL link, which can be embedded within existing websites to act as a kind of member portal type area. This is fully customizable, so the portal itself, you can set the cover image, control what is visible to members and non-members. It allows people to sign up for the club, take out membership, book coaching or training sessions, and have access to club documentation. And so I refer to the system called ClubServe, but the actual organisation that we're working with to develop the system is called ServeSport. In the past, they've also been referred to as GB Sport, and they're recognised as leaders in the space of working with a range of different governing bodies to create bespoke digital solutions to help clubs and governing bodies operate better. In the past, they've worked with Scottish Athletics, who are developing a very similar system to ours, the LTA and Tennis Scotland, and a range of other clubs and groups across England. We're a developer in partnership with ServeSport, and what this means is that we're one of the early adopters of the system and have committed to work in partnership with them to shape and develop the system so that it meets the needs of clubs. We commenced this partnership in February 2020, and I've now spent 2 years working through system testing each component. Initially, this system testing took place via staff, and across the staff team, there's significant experience of working in clubs, both within cycling and out of cycling. And then we undertook a pilot with clubs over August and September of this year, which allowed us to fine-tune bits of the system further and identify areas that we look to develop in the future. The system continues to evolve, and there's weekly updates across the system as we fine-tune the system to ensure that it best meets the system users. ServeSport, the company, want to best understand the functions and operations of your club so that they can ensure that the ClubServe system can provide the technological solutions to the tasks that you're undertaking. So where to go for help with the system? Now, ServeSport developed 2 really robust resources. So that's why ClubServe. Where to go for help? So ClubServe developed 2 really robust resources: the ClubServe System Manual and the ClubServe How-To Guide. These are both live resources, so we only ever share the URLs for these documents, as opposed to encouraging people to download or print off them. I'd also say that between the 2 documents, there are over 500 pages, so to save the fuss, I discourage people from printing them off. What we mean by them being live is the documents are being continually reviewed and added to. If we question how to do something and ServeSport realise that it's not quite covered in the system manual or the how-to guides, they're proactively adding to them all the time. And actually, even when I was in the how-to guide today preparing for this, there's an update came in during that time to add an additional few areas to the how-to section. The system manual talks through the functionality of all aspects of the system and explains the terminology and takes you step by step through how to set up the system across all different areas. The how-to guide does what it says really. This resource identifies the key things that you'll try to do in the system and builds upon the system manual by showing you exactly how to develop a part of the system for your club or set something new up. Again, this resource, which is newer than the system manual, continues to be evolved. As I said already, both of these resources are fairly large. The manual is around 350 pages and the how-to document is around 200. However, they're really well structured documents, and the contents page at the start of each document helps you jump straight to the section you're looking for. So you can click on the header and it'll take you to that section of the document, or you can just search for the page number that will come up. We're going to be running a series of webinars and workshops in the system, which will explore the functionality of different elements of the system in greater depth and provide opportunities for you to outline any questions that you have. Should this not be sufficient, or you require greater levels of support, then our full club development team have been involved in the development of the system and can be contacted at any time to arrange a call to talk through what you're trying to do. It's possible that you might come across something in the system that isn't working properly or how you'd like it to. When this happens, we encourage you to get in touch with us and outline in as much detail as possible what you were trying to do and screenshot any error message that you've come across. We know your time is limited, and therefore we'll either look to address this as quickly as we can ourselves or pass it on to ServeSport for their input. Our experience so far is that they have been able to identify issues really quickly and issue updates to the system, often overnight, so that it's sorted for the next day. Now, I thought it'd just be important just to outline a few things at the start with regards to the system. So the first thing is that the system isn't designed to replace the British Cycling Event Management System or the club management system. So firstly, in regards to replacing the British Cycling Event Management System, what we mean by this is that permitted events, so open races and that kind of thing, will continue to be registered and administered through the British Cycling System. So if you're an event organizer with open events, you'll continue to do this through this system. However, for events like club confined time trials, club coaching and training sessions, social events, etc., the ClubServe system provides a greater level of customization than the event management system for this purpose, and we encourage you to use the events function of ClubServe for that purpose. Coming on to the club management system that's available through British Cycling as well. We've been working with British Cycling for a number of years on this, and they're as frustrated with it as we are. But we understand that while the functionality of the system is limited, some people do use this. We aren't switching this off for clubs in Scotland, so assuming your affiliation is active, you'll continue to have access to this. However, any functions that you do through the system, such as communicating with your members and taking subscriptions, can also be done through the ClubServe system. Now, one other thing to note at the moment is that at present we don't have an API in place with the British Cycling System, which means that currently the two systems don't currently communicate and data doesn't flow between the two systems. In the meantime, data has been manually transferred between the two systems, and that's how we switch on affiliation in the British Cycling System when an affiliation application comes through the Scottish Cycling System. We've identified with British Cycling a way that you can do a mass export of your membership data. So that's one manual method that we can use to transfer data between the systems. But the short to medium term aspiration is that the systems will speak to each other, so that we can reduce the amount of manual handling of data that's going to take place. We can't see the data that you hold in the system. We'll be able to run insight reports to see headline numbers like demographic data of your membership, but we won't have access to the personal details of your members, nor will we be able to see things like bank or accounting information that you import in the system. Each club has a separate database within the system, so you've all got your separate back office and a separate portal, and these are all separate databases from the Scottish Cycling main database that exists in the system. So we can't get access to that to see the information that's on that. If you'd like to discuss anything around data in more depth, then please don't hesitate to get in touch. And I guess just one last point to say is that it's not going to solve every problem that you currently experience at the club when it comes to the administration of what you do. But if it doesn't, what ServeSport and ourselves are really keen to explore is for you to describe what current processes you have in place and how you'd like it to be better, and we can explore this with developers. We've done this on numerous occasions so far, and have been able to further enhance the system to better meet the needs of clubs. So how to access the system? So following the approval of your club affiliation, you'll receive an email like this from the ClubServe system. Now this doesn't happen automatically, so someone in the club development team will send these out on a weekly basis. I think it's my turn this week, so they'll be sent out tomorrow for anyone that's had their affiliation approved in the last week. Now this includes the following. It includes the back office URL address. This will be essentially your club name.clubserve.net/back office, and then a portal address, which will be your club name.clubserve.net. It will also include your club ID and your club password. Now these can be used to set up system administrators. You won't be able to access the system until you've set up at least one administrator. And the ClubServe manual talks you through this on page 20 of how to do this. Once you've set up one administrator, you can then pass on the club ID and password to other people in the club, or as the first administrator, you can go into the systems user section and create additional system administrators. And you can have up to 10 people that can have access to that back office. And as I said before, you control the different access rights that they have. So for example, for your treasurer, you might decide that it's only appropriate for them to have access to the bookkeeping functionality. But maybe for your membership secretary, they need to have insights into other sections, such as the contacts database in the membership section. What I'm also going to do now is just run through some of the terminology that you might have heard me refer to already, but also terminology that will come up when you read the system manual. Now, module is the term we use to describe different subsections of the system, such as contacts or membership or club development plan. A module will usually have its own menu item in the main menu in a screen that you'll see in a minute, and also its own menu page, like in a sub-menu for further options. So the module menu, as each module system has its own menu page, which can be displayed by clicking on the module name in the main menu, and it shows the further options that are available with that. Contact is a term we use to represent an individual or an organization whose details are recorded in the system. So for you using it as a club, I can imagine that the majority of your contacts are going to be individuals, but for us as a governing body, we use the contact system both for storing our database of coaches, but also for storing our database of clubs. So we use it for both organizations and individuals. But imagine for yourselves, it will mainly just be individuals. Event is a term we use to describe the course days and sessions that an organization can host. So be that a social event or a club training ride, or a club coaching session, or a club committee meeting, or a club AGM. Event is a kind of all-encompassing word which can be used in that. And the event section of ClubServe is really customizable. to suit that. Multi-club is a phrase that you'll sometimes see pop up within the system. And this is a term that we use for a club that is accessing the system via the governing body. So for any Scottish cycling club, you're accessing ClubServe via Scottish cycling, so you'll sometimes see things referred to as multi-club within the system manual, and that's essentially what it just means. That's how you've accessed the system. ServeSport also sell accesses to the ClubServe system to individual clubs and bodies, and they have access in a slightly different way. Resource is the term we use to describe a physical entity that your organisation makes available to book out. So if you have a fleet of bikes, or you've got rollers or turbo trainers, that kind of thing, you can use the resources library on the resource on the website to allow people to book these out. There's also a resource library, which is where you can find the resources that I referred to previously, the guides, the templates, etc. And a rate period is the term we use to describe a date or time range that details the cost of something. So if you're booking a resource out, how long it takes, with any charge you associate with that, but also if you're taking out membership, etc. You can set rate periods, either like in a 12-month fixed thing or a rolling membership type thing. But you'll see rate period used quite a few times through the system. And as I say, as I'm going along, please just fire any questions into the Q&A, and Maddie can pick them up. So system settings. Now, so this module enables your club to customize the systems to your specific requirements. So you'll find this on the left-hand side of the screen when you go into ClubServe, and this is what the section looks like within the system manual. So this page is used to set up a range of different organizational settings that you'll need to ensure that the system is properly set up for when you get going. So this is one of the first things you should do after you've set up the administrators of the system. So you can set up different settings like email, finance, legal and governance, logos, name and address, and a Google Maps location as well if you want to include that for where club activity happens. So the email section is where you enter the details of the email settings you want to use for outgoing emails. And the system can send two types of emails. It can send a system email, and these are emails sent by the system automatically, such as registration confirmations, booking confirmations, etc. So when someone signs up for a coaching session, people can opt to receive a confirmation of that, or they book out a set of rollers, they can opt to receive a notification of that will come to their emails. The system also allows you to send bulk emails, and these are emails sent by the system that are generated by the user and sent to multiple recipients. So a weekly newsletter, or an update on club sessions, or announcement of an AGM, that can be included in that. So the system emails can be sent from either the default, which is just no reply at clubserve.net, or you can set it to include your own email account. You select which option that you require within the system settings. Likewise, with bulk email, you can choose whether it's a no reply, or you can set it up to be from a club email address. The finance settings, when you look into this section in system settings, this allows you to do things like set the accounting methods for the club, the year-end, VAT registration is applicable, and quarter start dates, etc. Setting this up properly is important because it allows you to ensure that the bookkeeping system element of the system works. And at the end of the year, it allows you to produce an auditable set of accounts at the year end. Legal and governance allows you to confirm legal status of the club, and the logos allows you to set the logo displayed in the page header of each page. It allows you to customize the system for you. The API settings page, or allows you to set the settings for third-party applications that interface with the ClubServe system. So ClubServe does recommend for sending bulk emails that you integrate with a third-party provider, such as MailChimp, but you can also use the system to send out text messages. You can use a service like TextVocal, which can be integrated into the system as well. Go cardless settings. This page can be used to input your Go cardless settings to allow direct debit payments, which can either be recurring or one-off. Since the system manual was last updated, there's been further updates made to the system, which now allows the integration of other payment providers into the portal, including PayPal, Stripe, 123Send, and SagePay. and clubs need to have their own accounts for each of these providers. So it's up to you to choose which payment provider you want to have integrated into the system. So this is what will happen. This is what the screen will look like when you log in to ClubServe. So it'll say welcome and whoever it is that's logged in, and you'll get the tiles displayed there, which show the different modules that are available to you. These are all displayed on this front screen on the home page, but they're also displayed down the side banner as well. If you click on home on menu, not menu, if you click on the home menu option, the main menu, and this is the system this is what will be displayed. And you can see that you've got the coloured tiles here, each of which is a shortcut to a module option within the system. So if you look at different elements of the system now, so we've got club reviews. So what club reviews essentially is a club health checker. And this includes over 120 questions to delve into every area of the club's operations to understand their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, many of these questions link onto further resources, which you can either access through the club reviews, or you can access directly through the resource library. Now, the club reviews element of the system is one that we're going to use more in the future, and we're going to do further sessions on how that can be used in bite-sized chunks to focus on particular areas of your club. Online training is a module containing a range of different topics. At the moment, it's being developed purely by ServeSport, but there is opportunity for us to create other training modules in the future. So one area that we're exploring is integrating safeguarding training onto this as a platform that people will be able to access. So the online training resource there is something that will be able to access by everyone in the back office. Document library is a secure place for a club to store all their key documentation. So we've got a list of recommended documents in line with the MOS that can be found there, but you can also add additional documentation to the document library, things like committee meeting minutes or constitutions or other policies that you have above and beyond what the MOS looks for. Also talked about the resource library already, so there's a range of different resources in there, and they're split in across various different folders. The club development plan is a planning tool that clubs can use to digitize their club development plan. The club development plan actually links to club reviews. So if things are identified through the club reviews as areas of development, you can automatically import these into the club development plan, which allows you to monitor progress, but also assign them to different individuals within the club. There's a masses of functionality to monitor progress within the club development plan tool, and that's one that we'll delve further into in the future as well. The dashboard section of the modules is basically a customizable module which allows you to get a kind of overview and a snapshot of what's going on in your club. So you can create a number of different graphs on here, and it's really just a kind of a landing page which allows you to see, membership numbers coming through or event attendances, etc. Which can be quite a useful one just to get a kind of sense of where things are in the club. 3 other functions here. So your notes is a place where you can take down notes, be it from a meeting. So it's similar to kind of the notes app that you can maybe have on your phone. Likewise, your to-do list is similar to the above, but a to-do list functionality. Contacts is the membership and volunteer database that exists within the system, and we'll explore more of that soon. Events is similar to other programs like Eventbrite. As I said before, you can use it for organising a club activity like group rides, coaching sessions, and social events, but at present it doesn't replace the BC events system for racing. The events calendar provides an overview of the events taking place within the club, links from the events created, and membership allows the club to create different membership schemes and administer payments. So I mentioned Stripe there, but also there's a range of other payment providers that can now be integrated. So you can use this part of the system to take annual subscription, or if you take regular payments off members for other activity, you can use this element too. It can also integrate directly with existing subscriptions that are set up through providers like GoCardless to set the right payment terms, etc. And lastly, as the remaining areas of functionality, we have transactions, which is the bookkeeping system for clubs. This allows clubs to input income and expenditure and creates a set of audible accounts. So you can create a range of different categories. So depending on how far you're budgeting or accounting as a club, you can set it across different subcategories. And at the end of the year, you can run reports on this that can then be audited. Invoices allows you to create invoices that are HMRC compliant, so your payment of coaches or other providers. And the queries function is a way of extracting information from the context database. So it's like doing a kind of detailed search. If you wanted to search for something, we're using a number of different fields to search across. For example, if I'm looking to find out members that haven't renewed in the last 12 months that are part of X group, queries can allow you to delve into that level of detail, assuming that that kind of detail exists when you upload the system. So that's what it looks like in terms of the back office versus the portal. And like I say, URLs should be fairly simple. So your club name.clubserve.net /back office for the back office, or just your club name.clubserve.net for the portal. So one of the bits that I also referenced that I come back and look at was the contact section. And I thought it'd be useful, just when we're looking at the contact screen, just to break down what the structure of a page looks like in the system. So as you can see, the page header along the top there. So you've got a kind of blank spot next to the alarm bell, and that's where you can upload your own logo into the system. You can also see the kind of outline of a person. That's where you can go into your account and set the details for yourself. And the search function as well will allow you to find things in the system. Clicking the three lines across will allow you to open up the side menu. Below that, you've got the page title bar, and that's the title of the page that's kind of displayed currently. You'll then see the breadcrumb. So if you can see, you see my cursor, but you see contact details and then contacts. This kind of shows you what you've kind of gone through to get to that point. The ServeSport encourages you to use the breadcrumbs to navigate through the system where possible. If you're planning to go back and forth. If you're coming at something completely, that's fine. Click on the main menu. But if you're just wanting to go back one step, use the breadcrumbs by clicking on the next thing along to get back to that point, rather than using the backspace option. It just helps the system work better. Page icons. So many of the pages in the system have page icons displayed immediately to the right of the page title and to the left of the page menu icon. These provide links to commonly used functions, such as adding a new record, editing details. The plus sign icon. This icon allows you to add a new record, so you can add a new membership scheme and that type of thing. So the page menu icons, this icon is displayed to the right of the page title and consists of 3 horizontal dots, and you'll see these quite a lot of different places around the system. This allows you to open up and see a range of other things that you're able to do with the system. So whenever you see the 3 dots, another menu will usually open up, which you can go in and use and do a number of different things. It normally allows you to upload things, add additional things that might be connected to custom fields, or delete things. And whenever you come across something in the system that's prompting you to delete something, it'll always come up and make sure that you want to do that before you do it. Going back to this screen, sorry. You'll see that underneath Mark Coach, you've got account bookings as well, and essentially that's just like a secondary tab. And you'll find this quite often in the contacts, but also in the events function. The reason for this is just to try and reduce the amount of stuff that you're seeing on one page and make it easier to digest. So if you click on the tab title, it'll display that tab screen. So the tab currently being displayed will always be denoted by an orange line underneath it. So that's why we're currently on the summary tab. But if you click the account bookings, it would then have an orange tab underneath that. Now, to make the system easy to kind of understand, within each of these pages, you've got a number of different page sections. So you can see you've got summary, membership, notes, groups, and tags. And you've got these arrows here, which allow you to either open up or close them. So you can see that summary, groups, and notes is open at the moment, but we've closed off membership and tags, and there's nothing in them, but it would open further, even though there's nothing in them. So you click on the chevron to open and close them. The page sections can also include a section menu. So that's where we referred to the 3 dots before. So as you can see in the notes, you've got 3 dots there, and also with the tags. And that's just due to there being an additional number of customizations you can make to that element of the system. So that's what the kind of context section looks like. And you can see again the 3 dots opening up. So if you want to do a bulk upload of contacts in the system, it's possible to export all membership details from the British Cycling Club management system or any other club management systems that you're using. Now, within the system manual, it talks you through how to do this between pages 155 and 160, and you can see that on the screen. Now, it's important that this is set up properly so that it can be imported into the system. So within the ClubServe system manual, it talks you through how the columns should be headed to ensure that the system can pick it up. Now, it's also easy to add additional custom fields if there's data that you want to input that isn't on the list of column header codes. So, for example, I've added it in now, but previously there wasn't the option to add a number of different qualifications or the expiry date of a child safeguarding course or the status of a PVG application. So we've added those in now as custom fields. But if there's anything else that you want to have in someone's contact record, and if I go back here, you can see down here it has display custom field data for this contact. If I clicked on that, it would open up those additional custom fields that I've referenced. So just because of when you look at it like that, you think that there's data that you want to have in there that there isn't a box for, doesn't stop you from uploading it. You just have to create additional custom fields when you put it in. So we've worked out with British Cycling how you can do a data pool from the system, and we've got a guide that we can share of how to do that. And as I said before, to administer the membership system within the data, it's possible to add a number of other people onto the system to administer it as well. So it's not all just down to one person to access, and that's the same as the current admin rights into the British Cycling system. So what next? So what I would say is I'd encourage people to go back and revisit the slides from this evening and watch back the recording. Use the system manual and the how-to guide to work through each step of the system. As I say, they're constantly being refreshed to bring them up to date with what we're looking to have with the system. And they're definitely the best place to go to try and find answers. If you can't find what you're looking for from those, then get in touch with someone in the club development team. I'd encourage you just to email clubdevelopment@scottishcycling.org.uk, and we're monitoring that inbox throughout the week, and someone will pick that up and either come back to you via email, or if there's a more in-depth conversation we want to have in the system, then we can arrange a call to work through that as well. We're going to host further calls looking at different parts of the system. So coming up next, we're going to delve further into contacts, but also the membership function. We're also going to look at the events part of the system and the bookkeeping part of the system in more depth too. And hopefully, as we delve into those systems, that will help the system start to fall into place for you. If you've lost your login details or you're not sure who they were sent to, again, just drop us an email to Club Development and I will get them reissued to you. And as I say, that can be accessed by up to 10 different people in the back office part of the system. So thanks, Maddie. So the question around how you set up as an admin, I can't see in the guides. So if I go back to this part, so when you first get this email, you get access to the back office URL. You put in the club ID and the club password. It'll then prompt you to set up like a user ID for the system. So you'll create a username for yourself, create a password and email address, and that'll then set you up as an admin in the system. When you then get into the back office part of the system, you'll then be able to see screen. You'll then be able to see this bit here, and you click on the system settings down here, and there's a section that's called system users, which allows you to add additional people on. So what I might try and do is just try and show you a live version of the system so that you can see that. If anyone's got any other questions, please just fire them into the Q&A and we can pick them up. So I'm just going to share my screen now. So hopefully you can see that. So you could, when you click on system settings and you click on system users, so you should be able to see this in your back office. You then just click plus here to add an additional system user. And this is where you can then set them up. So set the user ID, first name, surname, set the password, etc., and add them that, and then you'll be able to tell them what you set it up as. You can set them to departments, so this is like our back office Scottish South conversion, but you might decide to have different departments from the club. You can also set the level of user role for the individual as well. So this comes back to the bit I said before, where you can set different levels of customization in terms of what people access. So that links back to this section. So if you look at user roles, if you click on one of these, it opens up the different functionality that you can have. So it is fairly advanced, but it is broken down into different sections, and you can leave some of them all text as you want to. But as you can see, it allows you to really customize in terms of each different module of the system, what people can access to. So that'll take a bit of time to set up, but once it's done, it'll ensure that people have got a different level of access rights. So yeah, so once you've set up one person as a system user, then go into system roles. You could just decide that you're comfortable with everyone have access to everything, and you don't need to set it up, or you can use them if you want to have various different levels of functionality that people have access to. So it's up to yourself whether you use the full user role functionality or not. Okay, if no one has any final questions, then I can leave it there. So as I say, we're going to circulate the link to the recording of this out to club secretaries in our club development newsletter this week. There's going to be subsequent webinars in the next few weeks looking at different parts of the system. And these can be open to anyone, so please circulate the links for these round to whoever is most appropriate in the club to attend, and there's no limit in the number of people from the club that can come along. And if that doesn't work for you, then please utilize the system manual and the how-to guides, or you can also reach out to anyone in the club development team, and we can chat you through different parts of the system. But if that's all, thanks everyone for attending, and hopefully speak to you all again soon. We can look at more parts of the system.